Okay, people, I like to do the original one kind of live off the cuff, so I don't even know what the next image is going to be. Let's see if I do this wrong. Let's do this. All right, this is what I tapped on. So I gleaned that by, quickly doing this. So I don't know unless my subconscious picked it up. So let's do it by ear. So shout out to Nick. Shout out to someone else who sent me an email. All right. So guys, let's go with this one. This is a beam standing up. Let's look at over here. There is another beam. I'm doing this live. So this looks like a beam here. So it looks like they did a steel support structure internal. Maybe this is sort of freestanding. The images I saw of the helicopter views and things like that, it doesn't look like it's secured to the building. Like it's a retrofit. They used an asphalt top. I was just telling you everything I noticed first. It's an asphalt topping, which is extra loading. They put cars in here, I mean, every which way you can. This is folded over. This buckled. Now, it may have... So that tells you that, okay, it might have been up here. And then when this section over here went down, it went down and folded this over. All right, we could get that buckling that way. I'm trying to zoom in, look at, and visually see these edges. Let me see, show you where I'm looking. Trying to see what's in there. Is that a piece of steel? Not sure. Okay, so we have cars that are parked on the outer wall. Clearly, what we can start stating is that this ledger here stayed in place, and this leaned down. So this is where it was at one point up here. The flooring. Now the flooring's down here with the vehicles. Let's keep going. Let's see what else we got in here. We got cars below. All right. So, can we get a floor below buckling and pulling down and then causing the floor above buckling? Well, this steel is standing proud. It's still in place, but this steel that was here is not. So the answer is yes. A floor below could have caused that. The one floor below. This is 4 stories as I understand. Let's see. We've got all the cars diving in. All right. So we've got the back of the cars here, all diving in this direction. So we get the rotation of the floor rotating down like that. A hinge back here. Okay, that's just data. Let's move on. Okay, so let's see if we can orient ourselves back to that car. Okay, the cars are behind us now. All right, there's a white SUV with the rooftop. Can't see it. This uses an elevator to bring people to the next level. Okay, we're behind us now. I believe the collapse is behind us here that we just observed. And now we're looking from this direction, the opposing direction. Okay, so there's our ledge again. So the car's diving down. This car has fallen on top of this car and dented it. So they didn't fall down together, did they? Rolled into it. Let's see. We've got a multiple building structure where they put a brick wall. Shit. I don't know what I just did there. It appears to be a brick wall here. Okay, and then maybe you drive through a section of it and they do some configuring parking. A little bit of brick wall there too. And you can see the brick dust on top of it. Okay, not led you to the wall there. Yeah, and they use that overlay. All right, so in the back there, wow, they even have more parking back here, it looks like, that they drive through. Now, they said this building is the 1950s, the reporter today, the local person, 1950s, they converted to parking. It's 1,000 years old or whatever it is, 100 years old. The asphalt looks pretty fractured up here. So that's the wear layer. That was a lot of work to put that asphalt layer on top of this. Did they add the steel to support that? Is the question. Now we've got tributary and critical shear zones. Okay, so tributary area is all this area in here. These 4 cars went down together. Okay, so there's a drop there. This hinge here rotated towards these 4 cars. All right, this section here rotated down towards the 4 cars. So instinctively, I want to look at this area here and bring it back as one of our initial points. Instinctively, but the brick there, I'm getting something pulling on that brick wall system to cause it to rotate over. So what I'm looking at is a dividing plane here, a wall system, and this side of the floor is down, and this is kind of flat over here. So this behaved differently, this section over here, than back here. So this section back here is very interesting to tell. Let's see what we've got now. All right, we zoomed in a little more in this image. Okay, yeah, brick. I'm looking for steel. Looking for the steel that would have punched through. I don't see it, considering it would probably be columns there too. I don't see them, so they're failed at the lower floors perhaps. Connecting to the walls here, we do see that it looks like something was ripped out of a pocket over here. There's that brick. Okay, so here's a big panel. Goes back to there. And this panel rotated down. I'm saying panel, this looks like a joist. That would be a joist. And that's a joist. So they all 3 of these joists are in plane with each other. So yes, we do have some fractured floor there. Fractured floor here in the tributary area. This is a joist. All right. So our joist doesn't fail to back to here. So this is where I'm picking on now. Let's change the color for you. So this area here. We have our most stockpiled materials. We've got our collapsed floors. We've got our cars just falling into from the rotation. All these cars rotated down. So now we just need a couple of supports that failed. But this triangle I'm sticking with right now. I'm sticking with that right now. Let me look at the ledge and see biasly and look for something to support it. All right, so I see, so they use like an H-beam. You guys know them as H-beams. All right. Looks like right there. This H-beam might have belonged up here at one time, so anchorage would be a question. How is it anchored? This is the elevator door, okay? Elevator door for each floor. The opening. This one, I believe, belonged up there. This is the asphalt top deck. We're looking at top deck. There is no other deck that above this one. This is the top deck. All right, so this is the wear layer, the snow layer, the one that takes it all. So I'm going to put this top deck up here. Okay, top deck. This steel belongs there. Now, it's got some twist in it, rotation, right? Probably because it shared part of the decking there. And they look, okay, there looks like a column that supported it. Again, this looks like a lower floor hunched down. A failure might be at our lower floor. Loading onto our H-beams, as you guys know them as, and causing it to buckle. Let's go to the next image. Okay, this one's, now we're looking from the right where that van is got the car on top of it, dent the hood a bit, smoke, so this is a new image. Column, vehicle parking. It looks like they have no restrictions on vehicle parking, whether it be vans cluttered together. They consider this whole area a uniformly distributed load that you can put any car you want. Doesn't matter about size or weight, apparently, just as long as you can get it in there. Okay, I'm not being facetious. I'm saying that that's the way they've gone about this. There's no restrictions written on the ground or anything else, compact cars, etc., for the roof. So, all right, there's no snow load. So back to this roof deal. Here's that steel again. All right, so back here we see the car that's still in plane. So the floor is flat there. There's that steel I mentioned. I believe that steel belongs up here by this fire escape. Okay. And then when it went down, there's another piece of steel that rotated from the back wall there. So over here is where that steel connects. This is the elevator shaft for the vehicles. Nothing inside, no cars in there observed at this time. Yeah, I see the cars rotate over. Okay, okay. So they let this person go inside. It's one of those robots. Illuminate your body. Illuminate your body. Okay. All right. So concrete floors or wall system, pretty thick. No rebar showing. This car, there's a significant rotation. So this car, this is the entrance, I'm assuming. So that was open. So our second floor, this being the first, the second floor rotated down pretty bad. This looks maybe brick. Where that car was able to rotate from that hinge point back here. So attribute to putting it back up, or the car's length of being, I don't know what kind of car this is. That's the exhaust. All-wheel drive exhaust, maybe. It looks like the engine up here. So we get our rotation. Wow, we don't even have the floor underneath of there. It's like the floor was pulled from underneath of it, and it fell through the hole. Okay, let's just move on. Let's go to the next one. All right, so we're back to this one again, more clear image. Cars are rotated over, flipped over. Come out of the elevator, so that would have to be room out of the elevator. So these cars would have come from, let's see the angles. So thinking out loud, that I keep seeing this little action there. That's on the other side of this wall, I believe, though. And it looks like a column there. Let's clear that up and blow it up. Well, it's a support, because this flooring stops here, all right, like that. So it's a support system that goes across there. And we got this beam system that comes here. Maybe another beam there pocketed inside, and then another one up here pocketed inside. And then the span is great. The span would be like that then. So here's our supports. Let me go again above it. There's our support. It gets us to this floor level here. Okay. Same image shooting through a building. Ledgered wall, looking for steel against the wall. So it obviously was the facade, was more facade. It didn't pull on the walls much. It doesn't show that. Okay, there's a car inside the elevator right there. See the vehicle? So they were either using that car as a little storage spot, the elevator, or is yet to be parked. Okay. There's my steel. Okay, there's the supporting steel. So this steel, I believe, was here. More free, so there's steel like that. This steel was up there like that. Maybe a little bit pocketed into it as it rotated forward. It knocked off some brick. All right, as this something was something impact this. Now that's the door opening. So is there a cantilever system going here across this floor here? What's secured it to the floor? But it tore it off like that. Look at the one above it. There might have been some concrete here that will fill in here. Okay. And then we have this section here that might have supported another beam ledger system type deal. Wish I had inside images. We don't have them at this point. There's that supporting beam. There's the other one. And we had the other one to the left. Not in this image. Okay, exit. Top floor. Exit, you walk down the stairs, I guess. It's just nothing there. There's a vehicle on top of the van, as I showed you. Let's move it over. Okay, somebody's got some before shots. Is this before shots? There's an exit sign. There's that little box. So we're on this side of it now. Let's go back one. So there's that box. There's the exit box. There's this corrugated steel orientation. Let's go back. Considering the zoomed in image, the corrugated steel. Let's go back again. They said approximately 4 stories. It does say parking. Okay, there is the steel there. Cancel. There is the steel here. Supporting. No way this was built 100 years ago. This was added on to whatever it was. Alright, so it is freestanding mostly. As you can see, this structure and this structure have two different wall systems. It has its own little protection against bump backing into that wall, in fact. Let's go to the next image. Somebody's got glare through their window. And let's move it. Alright, well, they seem to like that image. Let's go. Elevator. It's interesting, what am I looking at here? Part of the elevator and system here. Crumpled. Okay, let's look at the outside wall. Wall to the right. Elevator shaft. Bricks. Block. Brick and block. Exposed block. Right here. Web design and brick. Brick would have been the original structure like that. This would have been additional. Early days, they did just multiple layers. I mean, this thing could be four to 6 layers of brick for the lower walls. Newer construction, this looks like 2 layers of 16-inch cord block. Or like that, single. So this is the back side of it. If you look down the bottom here, it says parking Shaftway. That's your elevator. Elevator lift to your left. Elevator lift right here. So 1, 2, 3, correct, and then 4th floor is the roof deck, and that's the service stairs to the elevator shaft. Okay, looking at this, okay, presents itself a lot more like this now, doesn't it? So now we're back to that point again. We're here. So somewhere I'm going with this. Everything, and I'm going to push that out here like this, which now gives me my triangulating right about here, that one buckle piece, but I'd move it over, shift it to there. So that's my point. Instinctively, that's what I see real fast. And so there's my start point. Could be on the lower floors under buckled column. All right. Could a car hit the column? Sure. You know, if you want to look at something like that, sure. We can get a one person did die there. We could get that driver impacting the column, you know, a little nudge too much. Some low frequency through there, and a little stability took a while, and there we go. I'm not saying that happened at all, just giving you some theory. So now we have here, and our cars are stable, facing us. Remember, that's back to here. So we're going to consider this section here almost stable, because we look through the other end of the street, not this end with the robot. I'm looking for that girl sign down the bottom left. I don't see it, the fitness sign. So right now, this is what I'm picking on. Yet I still need to see the other side. Yep, my bias is strong. It's still coming back to here. My bias is strong. There's your slab rotation off that wall. This is the fracture. Remember, there's a wall here. Supporting wall here. The beams come all the way across to, they're pretty significant. I don't know if it's to here or to here, the floor beams. So the floor beams didn't feel to be fractured, so we're looking at, I believe, a column failure. This is going to a column failure. And that could happen from a beam deflecting enough to pull on that column at the top of it and cause it to rotate over. You saw that one column look like that. It held, the connection held, and then it bent there. Yep, sorry, I wasn't recording, and I just blew past this image and into here. All right, so yeah, that's what I'm sticking with still, that same location, which is here. And let's keep going. Okay, so now that's a wall system they're looking through. And there's the brick I talked about. So there was some added on structure there with the block. And moving on. Okay. So we see the arse end of this vehicle down here. So that's, again, another bias that puts us there, that it stayed at that point where rotation took place. Again, puts us back here, which now I can see the connection here. Beam coming across, getting some deflection. You need some room for the cars to come out. They got to shuffle cars up there to get cars out. Okay, so these cars here, they only fell. The floors below are stable. We saw a vehicle approximately there on the floor below. So they're sitting on top of a vehicle right now during that rotation failure. There's a car in the elevator. Okay, interesting. The elevator, we might be able to still recover the car. Depends on the insurances. Trying to look at the securement. Again, the brick. This is the original structure, the brick. All right, those multiple layers. The add-on construction you saw was the cinder blocks. However they did that. Trying to find some deck securement. It would be here. It'd be at this level here, okay? Right there. I'm trying to find it. This looks like plaster up to and around something. So maybe our beam did go a pocket in there. And steel beam going this way and coming back towards us. Steel beam going this way, steel column going down. And then concrete beam coming back towards us. Oh, for clarity, I was saying concrete beam. That could be fireproofing over that beam, the beam there. Or I'll move this. That looks like it presents as concrete, except for the top of it. The fireproofing wouldn't get on top, so that's why I think it is just, it's a concrete beam and not a steel cover with fireproofing that looks like a concrete cover. Looking at that outer wall, it just went down. It bulged the back wall off onto the street below, onto the lower whichever lower level below. It's like putting your behind out, pushed it backwards. So here we're doing this. We're going like this now, and this is where it stopped. Again, these cars are resting on the floor below. They didn't continue. So these cars are compressed to floor, probably 2 floors. The second floor is probably 1 more floor below that one, because here's the floor here. And these cars are below that one, so that would be the second floor that these cars are being supported on at this point. I don't think it's going as far as the first floor, because I think those cars would have slid off. Maybe I should be fair and probably say maybe this is another company we're looking at. Maybe this company over here that I said is new construction. Maybe this is another company, and back here is that's the elevation. There's another company. Maybe they don't own the two, although I saw what I thought to be a driveway through one connection to the other. But on the lower level, on the level below this one. But my senses tell me that the structure in the back here, the one we're looking at with the collapsed, that it's somewhere about the second floor and right about there. And we're talking about a column failure connection via a deflecting floor, deflecting beam. The beams look pretty strong, stiff back, if you will. So we're talking a connection failure, more than likely, second floor, caused by what? I don't know. Deterioration, lack of repairs, lack of maintenance, lack of respect, overloading. We don't know yet. We could argue that this beam, this column, is proud all the way down to the floor, because you can see it's punched through the floor decking there. And, well, it probably, maybe it leaned or rotated towards us a bit, but it also bent over, so it had to do that, it had to have a stable ground, securement. This one did not. So the T part of this, it's up here. Let's just take some liberty and put it up here. All right, this one I'm gonna put up here. It's still connected. So I'm gonna move to, well, it would have to be at least the floor below it, right? That would kick it out somehow, but it's close proximity to the wall system. I don't think this beam, I think there's a cantilever action going on, and that gets us in front of the elevator system. Elevator over like that, elevator like this. That gets us in front of there, but then it's now this beam takes support from the cross beams, these beams coming over here, and here's an elevator car. So we got another support I need to find back there. This one I believe is here, offset from the face of the structure. There's no way in hell that this goes over to there. All right, so it's off. It's a staggered. It's a it's not at the wall. I don't know how they transfer the loads when they put that steel in there. Did they build the floor and then put the concrete on top of the floor, or is it a continuous steel structure and then the floors tie into the steel structure, sort of like this? So this would be steel, right? So steel, and then deck pan, but there is no deck pan here. See, it doesn't present as deck pan. So these are formed up concrete slabs with very little integral connection with the top of the steel. I don't see it on top of the steel here. Any concrete and gate, locked in with things called Nelson studs. All right, Nelson studs that's World War II type thing, like that, and the concrete connects to it. I don't see that. I don't see the rebar, the reinforcement here. It's like it's plate slab construction with minus the reinforcement. This could just be some tributary failure stuff, where they just overloaded this area here with vehicles and they just punched through and compounded to this failure. Okay, I'm getting more and more confident that this area is the beginning area. And that's our beginning failure right here. All right, look at the cars. These 3 cars. They were all up here at one time. And the cars were up here. And now they've all rotated down, except for the ass end of this wall. The floor system is like that. So the cars aren't falling in. They're not falling into this section. They're falling in over here. So that means this section here, where their tires are, took the rotation first. All right, this is our our first rotating section. So this is our first, and now I'm not saying it's from the roof. I'm saying it's probably second floor, more likely second floor. It's the 4th. I'm still favoring the second floor over the 3rd. So we have the elevator also. The car was going up and maybe to the top floor when this failure happened, or they were using that elevator as storage for another vehicle, 4th floor. Throw the car on the 4th floor elevator. All right, so this is the roof deck. So this is the first section. All right, section. Okay. That rotated down, this section here. Now I can put it again on the second floor. I like the second floor. First floor is the ground level, so you don't have that one. I'm not liking the 3rd floor. 3rd floor is showing support for vehicles back here, right? That's supporting these vehicles. This is probably down to the second floor supporting it, not the first. So the first is probably short of that punching through at the front there, which is very interesting because I have to get to that car that's like that. That shows second floor failure, right? Second floor failure because that car is standing like this. Here, the tires. It's standing on its nose. A huge rotation to do that. Okay, better detail of that block. It looks more like a column. This looks more like a column system that they made. And there's our brick wall system. So this is wall. This is not floor. There's a stairwell. This is steel. So there's been a few different alterations here over the years, all the iterations, although they trying to claim that this was all original built, turned a century. No way. No way. I'm looking at a few different iterations of upgrades, except for the flooring, obviously. Apparently, there's no, the reinforcement is what we're lacking to observe. That brick was, something was pocketed in there, a beam, and as the beam went down, it pulled and flipped that wall down. That's probably that middle wall system flipped it down, and we're at the first floor, so it's at least the second floor and above. This is the government official, which you government representatives, which you should trust not. So again, let me make this clear to you that this back wall has bulged out and fallen down, to the street. Over here we have that beginning, I believe, and this is another wall here, brick, that indicates that it failed also. So there are multiple supporting load paths that once the one connection failed, it pulled on the others to help help this failure. So I want you to think of this as that wall system, and that's that brick. You can see I'm going to take this away. It's bulged like that. So we have a little bulge going on there. So one of those beams, when it rotated, kicked backwards, shifting this floor system, which lost that wall in the back also when the wall buckled or gave way, buckled down to second floor, I believe. Again, this is just asphalt on top of concrete. I'm looking at it, so it's a very thin layer. I don't see too many. I don't think that's a downspout, but I don't really see drainage. Wonder how they handle that. I did see a pipe in the front though by that column, the column of bricks. There was a pipe there that went up to at least the second floor. So there's Johnny Robot right there. But what I want you to take note here is that brick. Remember I said brick? This is brick. It wouldn't be block on the first floor, turn of the century. Brick is what they were doing. So you're looking at brick. There's the ramp. And brick here. So no matter what they tell you about turn of the century, it's not true. They added supports. Maybe they added this fire escape. This looks like original type design. That they don't make that anymore, I don't think. That looks original, little curb bumpers. Custom made, of course. So noteworthy is that car that they photographed that's turned on its end. It's the Johnny Robots there, right? That car is much further in. Much further in. So our supports, here's a load. Our supports are here, our spans are here. And somewhere, though, those spans change. Okay, active 24-hour driveway, stairwell. We're on the other side of the structure. Okay, so I think I found the pockets on the left wall. Or north-southwest to west wall, if you're looking at it from here. That looks like a beam sticking out that's rotated. Looking at the pacing of it, the spacing. Maybe here. That now all of a sudden we get our spacing. So that might have gone like that. So these might have gone this way. Okay. Let's put these in. Okay, so then column here. That's about right. There was a column here, right? So then we're going to add our column down. I don't know what spacing it is. And then we come back across with the same design. So we come across with the same design back to the structure below. Okay, let me just delete that. Hopefully you saw that this looks like the pockets for the joist. Let me erase it and come back because it looks like one of a concrete type beam showing right there. Looks like rebar in there, but I can't be sure. It looks like rebar, and then the rest just, nothing to hold, no development length, just can't hold it. But again, there's a spacing. And so all the cars are down. I'm doing that. I'm doing that with the supports columns underneath to the next level. This is the epicenter, I believe. Okay, so I think I found the opposing. Might be the opposing columns. The supports. Two different designs here. And then maybe these go this way. Looks like we have different support design systems there. Trying to verify it with a better image. Okay, this is a little interesting. So this one, the back ass end of it is obviously supported. All of these. So that beam might be there. I have a beam here. There might be another beam here. So the span might have been like that, shorter, as opposed to going out to here. That's a beam, but these ass end of these vehicles are on a high or a pivot point. So there might be another beam structure there. There might be another beam structure there. I can't just do any better than that. Zooming in. Then do we have floor joists going this way, which rotated down into the abyss. So looking at this again, there's the floor beams, right there, one, and there's another one here. There is that wall failures. This is the wall in here, I believe, that's failed. These cars are sitting on top of. They're rotating. See it rotating on top of a ledge system. Another beam, I believe, and then this obviously it can't go any further because the vehicle is compiled down below, stockpiled. This is where I state that other beams are here, and that would be like that. You can see the fracture like that. This beam here continuing over there. Okay, let's do that. Now I'm not sure if this is a beam here. It looks like it could be, biasly so, and off the wall a bit. And there's where the floor was, right here, the parking deck floor, top floor. And I would point out like a connection. So it seemed like it had some nice spacing for the lows, but the floor itself perhaps couldn't take it. This is interesting. I'm going to draw over it like this. Can't make out what that is yet. That's that steel right there that's flanged steel, right? And again, it looks pretty weird there. I'd like to say corroded right there. That's rotated over, bent here, but if it wasn't corroded enough where it couldn't still keep securement to be able to fold over that steel. So keep that in mind. Trying to find more steel like that, and I cannot. All right, let's now run this steel here, right? Like that, and it's folded. The hinge point is back here, rotating down to here. Put this steel on top of here. Okay, put it on top of there. I can't verify that, but if you could lift it back up underneath of that vehicle here, right here, lift it up and put it here. You got rotation off to the front here, so it rotates off to here. That gets us that little what we're looking at perhaps. So perhaps that's connected there. Okay, much better image. So we have our steel here. Aha, we have our steel here. The steel was displaced, so it was like that. You know, 1 point. It was displaced over to this position. Okay, so that's major. This one was not. So our let's see if we can do it like this. We got some steel of T like that. That's this one. And then we have some steel that bowed out like that, which is now we put it back together, and we have our floor. This was supposed to be like that. So we need to get this steel over to here. Now, if we could deflect this down, we could get that to bow outward. So let's look for that. So if I just straighten this up, and there's the T. So as it pins against this wall here, see that radius I'm creating? It can cause part of, not all, part of that rotation. It's punched through the floor a bit, punching through the floor a bit, right there. Right there is what I'm indicating. But we have that steel that displaced. What was in its way? What displaced it over there? There was, cars around that you figure parked. What got that steel to kick out over to there? It's a major kick out in front of the elevator shaft there. I believe that's the elevator shaft to the right of it, the bottom of it. So I'm looking at this area now. It's in front of that white wall. That's going to get me to thinking a bit. Yeah, that's going to get me thinking. Yeah, so it is the elevator shaft that this steel is kicked over to. That is a major kick. We're looking at the outside wall. Is that the outside wall here? In that case, we have room for it to go. As the wall goes outwards. There's the exit. Is that an alleyway that it kicks out into? And so it's easily displaced over to there. Looking at that steel, I don't see any buckling in that steel, that length, this length. So we don't have any buckled steel there. It's a slight bit of punching through at the head of it there as it rotates. Nothing that initiating. The wall didn't bulge and buckle. The wall looks flat. All right, let's clean this up. There's where pocket, where one of the members were, and possibly right here also. The cross members going the other direction. But this wall is flat, plumb. Don't worry about this old fireplace or whatever was connected there one time from probably an existing building. And that's more like a buttress, so it counts positively towards the structure. Rigidity towards that wall. It's the elevator shaft, which is not affected anyway, which is pretty plumb, rather. We're at the top floor. You see their car, like I told you, that it creased. It fell into the other car, so the truck was down there first, the white truck. And then this one came and impact also. This is back there. In front of us to the right is a big tower where you see the firemen at one point. This tower is probably another 4 floors or 3 floors tall. Okay, I'm going to end this video, and it's a lot more images just keep coming and coming. But I want you to notice this T-shaped steel there. I'm going to remove that in a moment. All right, let's just do it like this. The failure is below it. All right, so that's the roof line. All right, so roof didn't do it. This is the 3rd floor. 3rd floor is still intact with this steel there. Didn't do it. We're down to the 2nd floor. 2nd floor support. So here's the 1st floor. So this one can fail, and then you get your second floor failure. I am instinctively going with 2nd floor failure in this zone right there.